Hi and welcome to Book Bits. Book Bits is just the juicy bits, the best bits. It's not a full book review, it's just a tantalising taster to whet your appetite and maybe draw you to read the entire book. Now, I was really interested when I was reading The Way We Were, Remembering Diana by Paul Burrell, that there was a specific little juicy bit that I just had to share with you. Now, it's in relation to Malibu, which is fascinating because we all know that there was rumours or PR puff being put out by the Melodramacito duo about the possibility of buying a property in Malibu, beachfront property in Malibu. And so when I read this juicy tidbit in Paul Burrell's book, I thought this will make a great little book bit because it's so relevant to what's happening with the dastardly duo. So I'll read you this bit and you see what you think. So this is the bit. In the final days of August 1997, so not long before she died, she knelt on the sitting room floor and spread out a coloured brochure and floor plan of a cliff-top property in Malibu, California, overlooking the Pacific Ocean. It was the former home of Julie Andrews and Blake Edwards. Now, I remember that home. I remember around the time when she did, I think it was Victoria, that film. And I remember her being interviewed and I remember there being a section in that beautiful cliff-top beachfront home when they were interviewing her and Blake Edwards because he actually produced and directed that film, I believe. That magnificent 6-bedroom property had already been laid on a plate for the princess. It was hers if she wanted it. I had the distinct impression that this was a sneak preview of a done deal. So as they were chatting about it, she was having fun saying this could be William's room and this could be Harry's room. And look, Paul, there's a separate little private residence for you and Maria and the boys. And they were all sort of excitedly talking about it. Now, it wasn't a permanent move to the USA, to the beach. It was intended to be like 6 months of the year. So, you know, used as a long vacation home. So she would go over there for maybe a couple of months at a time. Now, when they finished chatting about it, she actually folded up the brochure and everything and she put it back inside a brown sort of folder. And she left that folder on the window seat in the sitting room. And on the outside of the folder, Paul noticed that it said Harrods Properties. So it may have been through Dodi Al-Fayed or his father, Mohammed Al-Fayed. You know, I don't know whether they gifted her this property or whether they just said, look, as long as you want to use it for your lifetime, you can have it. But she was under the impression that it was hers and that it was hers to use as and however she liked, basically. And Paul Burrell, interestingly, goes on to say, because he was never convinced that the Dodi thing was really very serious at all. He sort of knew that it was just a fling, a lovely fling for Diana. But he got the impression that if there was any strings attached, like if she could have this home of Julie Andrews at the beach, but if Dodi came with it, that she probably wouldn't have considered it. She was very much, when she was chatting to him about this property, she was treating it like it was her alone, and this was her new house on the beach. The trouble with Paul Burrell is his story changed over many of the books. It was not so much the story changing, but releasing more information in dribs and drabs. But there were a few occasions where he did reverse what he originally said. Now, he explains that in this book by saying that more or less in this book, all gloves were off. He was telling the truth. He was giving away some things that he probably vowed he would never betray Diana with. He was giving away more secret information. Now, it has been argued that he did that because he actually feared for his own safety and he wanted to get all that he knew out there so that it became public knowledge, rather than someone trying to sort of shut his voice down in any way, whether with litigation or by nefarious means. But I don't know. We don't know. But it is true that the story did change over several of his books, so therefore that undermines his credibility in a lot of people's eyes. But I thought that the Malibu bit was interesting because I just wondered whose bright idea it was. Oh, look, H, we could live by the beach. Your mother always wanted to live by the beach. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you again very soon for another Book Bits. Bye.